In this video we have a slightly unexpected MOT, which is going to make it 3 MOTs in 3 weeks for my new tester to consider. I slightly ballsed up on this one. I took Elly off the road at the end of October, parked her up, and somehow forgot that the MOT was actually due on the 3rd of November. So that was a mild oversight. So it's fine to have no MOT while she's been declared SORN. That's a statutory off-road notification here in the UK, and that means you don't have to pay road tax because you've said the car isn't on the road effectively. It's not called road tax really, but semantics. I'm going to have my usual battle with the grease gun from us grease kingpins. It's not that long since I last did it, but even so. And I bet we've got issues with lighting as well. I've probably got the battery disconnected, so that's not going to help with the lighting. So we'll start with a game of, are the side lights going to work? I'll leave the bonnet resting there because frankly I don't expect them to, but at least if you're there I can do that and see we've got one side light. 50% success rate. This is kind of every year is play around. There we go. It's the connector almost certainly on the side light itself. I'll bring you in. You can have a better look at what's going on here. Here I see it. Oh, hello, Bottle. Bottle's just come and say hello. Bit windy again today, but mild, so let's not complain. Yeah, if I just pop this out, it'll be the easiest way. Oh, there we go. It's usually the connectors. Yeah, that's not very tight, is it? Bullet connectors. Usually the bullet connector that connects to the bulb there. So I might just give that a squeeze up with the pliers. We'll make sure that's got a good grip. So this is a necessary step before we'd get Elly an MOT before we start worrying about doing the engine swap. Yeah, that is a dodgy connection. We'll clean that one up and see how we're going. But I'm just going to prepare for the second issue we're going to have today. Just check at the back, and we've got the rear lights working. Conveniently they have the number plate light built into the lens, so it's one less thing to worry about. But let's pop the hazards on and see what's happening. Yeah, as expected, dead. The rear ones working absolutely fine, and I suspect if we go around the other side that'll be dead as well. Yeah, fronts working nicely. Oh, these side lights, the side indicator units, they're cheap. Well, they weren't particularly cheap. They are aftermarket ones, and they are absolutely terrible. I wonder if LED bulbs would help, because you usually find you're getting power, just not enough of an earth. So I think that's going to be our next challenge. Let's pull the bulb out the bottom. There we go. Yeah, it's all very crusty in there, so I think I'm going to take the bulb out and clean everything up in there. There we go. A bit of the old sandpaper on the contacts, and sure enough it stops working as soon as I refit it to the car. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, these really are nasty things. I don't think they keep the muck out, so they get horribly damp in there and then stop working. I suspect there is still a pretty good chance this will be failed by the time I get to the MOT. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not great, is it? So is that the power or the earth that's the problem there, do you think? It's probably the earth, to be honest. Oh well. I think that's probably the best we're going to achieve on that. Another problem has become apparent if you look at the back. That tyre completely flat again. I think that wheel is now leaking air through the rim so badly that yeah, it's just going down in no time at all. Disappointing. So I think we'll get that wheel off the car and we'll see if we can trace where it's actually leaking from. Well, what I thought had happened is this seam had blown out to the point it was leaking air. You can see I made the mistake of getting these wheels powder coated. Never doing that again. It doesn't work at protecting it. Look, this is what happens. It just flakes up something rotten. So I may still change the wheel anyway, but I think I found a thorn here going into the tyre. I think that's the source of our leak. There's our leak, dead rim. So that's where it's all going. Red herring with what I think is a thorn, probably just trapped in the rubber a bit. So I need to try and find a better wheel. Marvellous. Well, that's the dead rim, but I haven't really got any good spare rims at the moment. So this one was off the front and wears exactly the same tyre. I got all 4 tyres fitted at the same time. Currently running Toyos on the front, 135s. I got 125s on the back. Oh, I can hear that. Should always have the biggest size on the back. Well, yeah, in a front wheel drive car that has no tendency towards oversteer at all unless the back tyre is entirely flat. Ask me how I know. I don't care. I want the most grip where everything is happening on a 2CV. That's the front. The driving, the steering, most of the braking. So I will have the good grip here, please. Although whether there's much overall grip difference between a 135 Toyo and a 125 Michelin, I'm not sure. But yeah, I need a set of rims for this car. I'd really like a set of the super slotted wheels. They look absolutely gorgeous, but they're quite expensive. And I don't think I can really justify that. I might just have to get another set. The problem is, if you buy a set of wheels, they come painted in grey. Whereas Elly should have white wheels because she's a dolly, and the super slotted wheels, because they're from an Ami Super, come white. So there is that. You have to factor in the paint on top of buying a set of grey new wheels. So yeah, not sure what to do, but some new rims definitely needed. I've got a huge selection of rims. I collected some rims from a friend. They all turned out to be rotten. So they're just going the same way. Rot creeps into this seam, as you can see there. And that comes through onto the back, and then they just start leaking air eventually. Never had a wheel collapse, but yeah, they do start leaking air. So I think we're at that stage. Unfortunately, yet another car that needs lots of money spending on it. Will I ever learn? Unlikely. So next time you see me, I'm not going to film the greasing. I'll probably get demonetized. But yeah, next time you see me will hopefully be post-MOT. That is tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed. No, you're right, folks. We haven't completed the light check. We didn't do brake lights. Oh, yeah, they seem to be working. And if I put the headlights on, fog light. Oh, there we go. That's weird. That's like a delayed effect. Put the hazards on. Let's put everything on. Making sure we got no disco fever going on. That's weird. That one looks much dimmer, doesn't it? I think it's just the angle you're on though. From down here, they look fairly similar. Maybe that bulb is on its way. There is a mild hint of disco fever going on, but at least we've got the fog light on now. Fog light doesn't get much use, so it probably just took a while for the electricity to force its way through. That's what I'm going to say anyway. Actually, I have just remembered another job. I don't actually have a key for this fuel cap. This was fitted. I had to buy a new pipe. The pipe itself actually split when we did the Croatia trip, and fortunately we discovered that just before getting to an enormous Citroen meeting, and I managed to buy a new filler neck, which came with this lovely cap on it, for which I have no key. That key does work, but it's not great, and I just get the impression at some point it's going to pop open, or it has actually happened. It has actually popped open while I've been driving along, and yeah, I think we might swap this out. So I just need a little flat bladed screwdriver for that, and conveniently I have one sitting on Bob right here. And I think I've got a spare cap. Right, gotta be careful with this little screw so we don't drop it. Again, that should be. I just want to get that screw all the way out, I think, just to make sure I don't drop it into the fuel tank, because that would be undesirable. Should now be able to unscrew this ring, there we go, from the filler. So you could just fit a non-locking cap straight on there. And I think I do have one of those somewhere, but I would prefer to have a locking one. But I think that would be, actually no, it would be alright. There is a rubber seal in there, but that rubber seal is very hard. Rubber seal is something they check on the MOT to make sure fuel can't slosh out of your tank. More critical on a diesel, of course. I've got you higher up, so I don't have to bend down quite so much. Actually just found, it's not Elly's original, but it is the one that she was wearing before we went to Croatia. And typically this has got a little crosshead on it. Can I use that? No, I'm going to need to get a little crosshead screwdriver. Or can I use that flathead? Oh, no, it's another flathead. Oh, that's a crosshead. That might work. So we've got a rubber seal under there. So this is the locking ring to lock onto the car. And it's there, I think, is where the screw goes. And the locking screw, just make sure someone can't come along and just wrench your fuel cap off. There we go. So that's effectively locked into place there. There should be another one there, but I don't think it's going to go, in all honesty. I might try and force it just for a bit of extra security. There we go. Nice and secure. I apologise for the sound of chickens in the background if you can hear it. My chicken friends have come to say hello. So that goes in there, that goes in there, and that comes out, and we are secure. And importantly, we can easily remove that, and so can the MOT tester, rather than my silly bodge solution that I've been living with for the past 4 years. But there we go. Let's consider that MOT ready then. And here I am back in my success spot. Yes, we have another successful MOT. Good times. We've got an advisory for this kingpin, very slight amount of play, so that is in as an advisory item. I probably should have actually found my grease gun last night. I hoped to find my grease gun and I didn't find it at all, so that would probably have just taken that little bit of play out. But yeah, there we go, that's for next time. But yeah, very, very pleasing. Unfortunately, we've got a band of wintry weather heading our way in a couple of days, so Elly may well be going away again. But we will crack on with that engine swap. Obviously getting the MOT was the priority, but now having passed an MOT with this engine, we're going to put an entirely different engine in, and that will be coming in a future video. But I think we can probably enjoy a bit of Elly time, so let's go. Okay, here we go then, bit of Elly hoon. Miles an hour. Miles an hour. Sight lines, there's some big trucks around here at the moment. So good to be back behind the wheel of this little car. So much mud on the road, you've got to be really careful. I can't go with quite my usual gung-ho level of commitment. But there we go, folks. That is another successful MOT. That is 3 successful MOTs in 3 weeks. We're on a bit of a high. Hopefully not too long until we can get a certain Pajero in, but that project is struggling along a little just to try and find the time to get on with it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Don't forget about Rustival, our event we're organising on the 9th of March. We will still be doing some HubNut socials this year as well. News on those soon. And we shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Whoa, bend. Oh. Take a look at this view.